like to welcome up our first speaker this evening. Now, she is very special to LMCA. She works the crosswalk every morning. Some fun facts you might not know about her is she used to have a paper route, and she made her 4, 7, and 9-year-old help her out with the paper route. She's not a dog lover. We are ready to welcome her up. Oh, and she's the administrator and founder of this amazing school. Please help me welcome Mrs. Sue Blakely.
Thank you. As I begin, I would like to identify 2 groups within our organization just very quickly. First of all, the Board of Directors of Lake Mead Christian Ministries. If you're a board member, could you stand briefly, just so people could see where you are? Thank you. Thank you, board members, for your oversight, your support of the ministry, and just for the way that I personally just benefit from your service. And the second group is anyone that is leading a department here at Lake Mead Christian Academy. So if you're a department leader, would you stand as well? These are devoted, talented members of our team, and they fuel the continued growth and the forward movement of Lake Mead Christian Academy. A lot of them are helping outside the room as well. So on behalf of the entire Lake Mead Christian community, I welcome you tonight and thank you for coming, accepting our invitation to the Legacy Builders Banquet. Tonight we're going to be unveiling our Expanding the Legacy campaign. What is legacy? Anything handed down from the past, including reputation, something that is a result of events in the past, matters of heritage. So as a 25-year-old school, Lake Mead Christian Academy has a heritage, a legacy. It's born from our past, it's handed down, and it's always a pleasure for me to share that legacy through telling the LMCA development story. And it's a story that starts with my unremarkable life. I was born into a rather poor, non-religious family, the 4th out of 5 kids, and my most vivid childhood memory was being completely fascinated with school. I loved to attend school and play school after school. And after 7 years of public education, a series of events resulted in a wonderful opportunity for me to go to 7th and 8th grade at a Lutheran school. So these 2 years had a lasting impact on my family and on me as we all came to faith in Jesus. In 9th grade, I re-entered public school, and in that public school, my obsession with school now changed to a passion for Christian education because I had experienced firsthand the benefits, rigorous quality academics coupled with faith and value development. So after marriage and 2 children, our family of 4 moved from tiny Greenville, Ohio to Henderson when the population here was about 23,000. We were surprised and disappointed to find out that there weren't any Christian schools for the kids to go to. So for 2 years, we carpooled down to Las Vegas to a school there. But rather than continuing that trek, which used to be on a little 2-lane roads instead of a freeway system, I began to homeschool our children. So as I homeschooled, this was my very first administrative position. And so if you recall that I was passionate about education, I definitely ran it like a school. So 5 years after 5 years of homeschooling and a failed attempt to get a church-operated school started, the LMCA legacy began. So just days after that church-operated school literally fell apart overnight, the doors of Lake Mead Christian Academy opened on October 9th, 1989, in a very miraculous way. From this point on, the story definitely is well beyond one leader or one family. People began to invest their heart in this endeavor. So we began in the Presbyterian Church with just 24 students. In the second year, we placed a triple-wide modular on the property, another portable building, and then we just began to grow by leaps and bounds. In the early years, our school resembled the American one-room schoolhouse, sometimes with anywhere from 2 to 6 grades all in the same classroom. We used cutting-edge technology, VHS taped curriculum. The start of this school was truly a pioneer work, And the staff would work for hours and hours, insane hours, for barely any pay. And they filled multiple roles without any complaint. But the teamwork ethic of our staff was the primary factor that I point back to in saying we developed into a strong, self-supporting school. We grew and we outgrew our facilities, and so we began to use some classrooms at the Baptist church, and we divided elementary and secondary. And as humble as all of these pictures so far has looked, let me tell you, it was a lot of work and probably took a lot more funding than you could imagine. There are a few people in the room tonight who helped to build these parts of the LMCA legacy, and they are still incredibly valuable to everything that happened from that point on. We appreciated all the open doors that we had at the local churches, but we had a real desire to build permanence here in Henderson, and that first opportunity came when the Landwell Company in 1995 donated this location that we're on today, 5.6 acres of prime land. This was a huge step up for us, and so our small but mighty school community went to work right away. We added more portable classrooms at the front of the property, and by this point, we were operating at 3 locations. We began to launch our first building campaign. So the first building we developed was this building that we're in tonight, 40,000 square feet, a simple and practical facility. After a very difficult building construction campaign, the kind that leaves you saying, we will never, ever, ever build another building, we finally were finished, and we moved in October of 1998 into this facility. Under one very leaky roof, we were able to reunite all of our staff and our students. After just a short time, we needed to add portables to the back. And so even though we had said we would never have another building campaign, we had this perfectly good piece of land at the front of the property. So we began to build again. It took more people than ever to build these pieces of the legacy, and some of those legacy builders are here tonight. So our second building was built and opened in 2005, another 20,000 square feet, and giving us room for more classrooms for our K-12 and adding early education. Today, the campus is totally built out, and we are able to excel in sports like volleyball and basketball because we have this gymnasium for those students to develop their skills right here on the campus. But even some of our sports like baseball and activities like fine arts have been successful in spite of not having specialized venues. And again, that's because dedicated legacy builders make great times happen at LMCA. So this year, we're nearly bursting at the seams. We're at 94% capacity, full homerooms, every classroom full all the time. And for many schools like LMCA, especially for their administrator, this would be a very good problem to have. Especially when you consider that in the last 5 years all across the country, it's estimated that 20% of private schools have either lost significant enrollment or closed down entirely. But rather than us basking in the growth and stability that we have enjoyed, we feel driven to enlarge. But we're not the kind of place that grows for the sake of growth, but rather it's a chance for our mission to be multiplied. And so as we look at young people, we know that each of them grows up and they participate in the future. LMCA strives to be the kind of place that builds world changers. As a 25-year-old school, we're privileged to see all of these different professions that our alumni are now serving in. And so we know that these kids are going to do amazing things as they grow up. So with this campus totally developed, what we now call our South Campus on a gift of land, we're now ready to go forward and expand the legacy. We're ready to go to a second permanent location, over 14 acres of prime land that's made available to us as a donation. The North Campus is going to be a massive undertaking, and the legacy needs an infusion of legacy builders. It's going to be a new middle and high school campus. The land gift alone is worth over $3 million. So that's a commitment already to the new project. One thing that's true is that sometimes it takes years to see an investment in legacy. And so it gets a little frustrating in the in-between time. But for this legacy in action, planning has already been underway for the past year, and the project time clock is already ticking, with an anticipated start for construction in March of 2015. The LMCA legacy has touched thousands of students and families over the last 25 years. But please tonight consider that legacies don't just happen. They are created. They are created by thought, by preparation, by action. Each opportunity that LMCA has had along the way has been accomplished because people joined the story and built the legacy. And usually that happened at a very critical juncture. So again, what is legacy? Handed down from the past. It's a result of events from the past. It's heritage. But as I close, can I offer a final definition that comes from the late 14th century? It's a body of persons sent on a mission. Let me ask tonight, will you be in that body of persons on this mission? Will you become one of the legacy builders that makes this empty lot that's just kind of catty corner across the street become a place where quality education and life shaping occurs day in and day out? So tonight, as you enjoy dinner and entertainment, some information, please consider this as a personal invitation for involvement in something that's outstanding and worthwhile. And thank you again for being here tonight.
Next, I would like to welcome up a very talented person. You guys are certainly in for a treat this evening. He is one of the youngest members in the Speaker Hall of Fame. He received a standing ovation at all 8 of his performances at Carnegie Hall. Please welcome Mr. Mike Rayburn.
Now, to jump into my daughter's world, I became a Taylor Swift fan. Oh, yeah. And I'm a genuine fan. I think Taylor's great. And Seneca is my daughter. And Seneca and I were talking about Taylor's big hit song called You Belong With Me. And if you don't know the song, let me set up the story. Taylor is kind of the girl next door in this story. She's got this thing for the cool guy in high school. But he's got this snooty cheerleader girlfriend. And it's a play between the two girls. So Seneca and I, she knows what I do, so we're playing with the question, what if? And she knows where we're going with this. What if? What if? And we got a wild idea together. In fact, she's a co-writer on this, on the CD. What if we rewrite this song from the male perspective? Sung by a male, but representing a segment of male society in high school, which I feel has been grossly underrepresented thus far in song. You're on the phone with your boyfriend, he's upset. He's going off about the homework he doesn't get. He'll never know mathematics like I do. I'm at the library studying for a test. He's been out hitting mailboxes with a bat. He'll never know quantum physics like I do. But he wears muscle shirts, I wear bow ties. He's good looking and I forgot to zip my fly. I'm dreaming of the day that you wake up and find that what you really want is a superior mind. If you could see that I'm the best at Nintendo or Monitor, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. You need a nerd like me. Walking with you through the halls of the Science Museum, talking all about Pythagorean theorem, looking at my comic books, thinking to myself, I bet she likes Star Trek, and you've got a brain that would make Albert Einstein proud. You use words that your boyfriend can't pronounce. The only thing you have in common with him is that you're both way into him, 'cause he plays football, I'm in the chess club. He's team captain and I collect rare bugs. I've only got brains, he's got the brawn. But in 10 years he'll be mowing my lawn. If you could see that I'm the best at Nintendo and the hall monitor. And why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. If you could see that I play Dungeons and Dragons, got a scholarship to MIT, he'll get a GED. He'll get a GED. Side note, you got to go to YouTube and look at that video. We had a great time, and I can brag on it because I just got a director and actress to do it. I just strummed along. It's very funny.
Next up, I would like to welcome just an amazing man. But here are some fun facts about him that I received from his daughter Rachel. He's a super scary, He's a super scary sniper combat veteran. He jumped out of a plane 136 times in his career. He's a huge Broncos fan. He can't stand dirty dishes. He grew up working at his grandparents' orchard, and then worked at the very first bowling alley in Victorville, California. He loves poker and craps. He is a World War II history buff. He would do anything to protect his family. His favorite shoes are Converse. He really loves to cook and cook for his family. He is truly a big teddy bear at heart. He drives a motorcycle and loves to travel with his wife on back. Please give a huge round of applause for Trevor Taylor.
Well, good evening. What if we could get Mike Rayburn to perform at Lake Mead Christian Academy, right? I mean, that was fantastic. Thank you, Mike. What if you have to follow Mike Rayburn at Mead Christian Academy? I'm Trevor Taylor. It's nice to meet you. I'm really pleased to be here this evening. Can you hear me okay? All right. Last year, Sue Blakely came to me amongst many others and asked if I would participate in assisting Lake Mead Christian Academy in their capital campaign. And I remember I was sitting in her office, and I remember, her mouth is moving, and she's talking to me, and I'm thinking, I just moved my 16-year-old daughter here. She's, relocating to the school. I just got married. I now have a 6-year-old daughter. My oldest son's getting out of the military and transitioning into civilian life, and my middle son just moved here from Denver to go to the Cordon Bleu. So I'm thinking, I got my hands full, just a little bit. But I also remember something my grandfather taught me in the orchard, which is if you ever want something done, to go to a busy person to help you get it done. And so I went home with my wife, and we prayed, and we sat around as a family, and we decided that this wasn't just a request from Sue, but I looked at this as a calling. And I looked at this as God's will, and so I decided to accept the responsibility, and my family supported me. Through this calling, I've been engaged in meeting just some amazing people. And a lot of them are here in this room tonight. A lot of them are not, but are in the community. And the people here passionately and truly, intensely dedicate their lives to making this school a wonderful spot. It's a loving, safe environment for our children to go to school every day. The immediate and long-term good that goes on here for our community and for our children, Sue said this earlier, it doesn't just happen. It's based on many things, and notwithstanding the set of core values that Lake Mead Christian Academy has. They live by these core values. They impress these core values amongst us as a community, and our family, our children. And they do it every day, every week, year after year. And I'd like for you to take a look at this.
The kids that come to Lake Mead love it here because they feel love. From the moment they come in the door, they become our own kids.
When I hear the words Lake Mead Christian Academy, I think of community.
When I hear the words Lake Mead Christian Academy, I think of family.
We have a great vision at LMCA. If you look at the history of our school, it started out as a very small group of people. It's become one of the leading Christian schools in the Valley.
This school is not only giving to these kids an awesome education, but they really are doing work that is impacting the entire world.
For almost 25 years, we've watched God just never stop what He's doing at Lake Mead Christian Academy. We have an amazing staff, teachers and support faculty. We have technology, we have awesome athletics, and we're ready to take some big steps now.
Building a new campus would be good because the school has done so many things for the community, and that would only provide more of an opportunity for our school to take in more students.
Lake Mead Christian is a great value. As a private school in Las Vegas, it's a testimony of the school of trying to keep it affordable so that as many families as possible can go here and have access to Christian education.
I feel like we need to build a new campus because it'll allow our high school to grow more. I love this school and it's been a great opportunity for me in my life, and if somebody has to miss out on this because we don't have enough room, that it's really sad for something like that.
If my kid was turned away, I would be crushed. You know, to miss out on this opportunity, for this school, the value of this school, because it is a blessing to be here at Lake Mead Christian Academy.
It's completely changed my life, and that's why people should give to this campaign, because it can change so many other people's lives, and it can turn teenagers in the right path, make them understand why they're making the choices they are, and in that case, make good ones.
When your child comes to school here, my commitment is to not just be their teacher, but to love them, protect them, and to teach them.
We could become an exclusionary type school where we raise the tuition to, the upper levels of the $15,000 range like other private schools around our city are. But that's not the heart of this school. The heart of this school is to give every family an opportunity to send their children here to experience the amazing gift that God's given us all, and that's the gift of love and grace. And because of that, we want to keep the tuition as low as possible. The only way we can do that is if we have community and family supporting the school in other ways other than tuition. The tuition can't be the end of it.
For 25 years, the story of Lake Mead Christian Academy has been one of progress. From our humble beginnings back in 1989, to building our first campus, to the preparations for our secondary campus as we approach our 25th anniversary. And we want you to be a part of what God is doing next at Lake Mead Christian Academy. So I pray you'll join us as we start this capital campaign.
Wow. That's touching moments in there, certainly a few for me. I mean, Sue talking about 25 years. 25 years. Mrs. LeBaron taught my 6-year-old. It's her birthday today. Gabby's 6 years old today. And Mrs. LeBaron, Gabby knows that Mrs. LeBaron loves her. And Savannah in there, talking about preparing teenagers to have the confidence and the self-esteem to make the right choices in life. And all those are, I believe, rooted down to the core values of the school. I, like so many, need to see the love grow. We need, the community needs, the children need for this to grow and to further impact our community. So in order for that legacy that has got 25 years trailing, in order for it to span, the only option we have is to expand the footprint of the school. So we as a team in the Capital Committee began to work towards this goal with the launch of the quiet phase of the Capital Campaign. Being asked by Sue to co-direct the campaign, I wanted to be one of the first to make a pledge. So in order to get the quiet campaign rolling a few months ago, I gathered my family, and we, again, sat in prayer in our living room. I got to tell you, I was in for an amazing surprise that night, just the spirit that came into our home and the love that came into our home. We gathered at a family, the traditional Taylor family way, where we sit at a round table, or we sit in a circle in the living room, and we talk, and I posed the question to the family. I'm like, how can we kick this thing off? How can we begin to make a financial contribution and enjoy that blessing and get this quiet campaign rolling? First hand up in the room, Gabby. 6 years old. She goes, well, I can stop watching Apple TV and I don't need to watch the Disney movies anymore and we could donate that money. And then she says, and I got this, she's got this pink ceramic piggy bank, and she goes, I can break open my penny bank, and just the way, what if, the way she starts thinking, the way a child thinks, and there's no walls, there's no conformity. She wants to jump out. Instead of eating 2 instant oatmeal packets every morning, I can eat 1. And then my daughter, Rachel, my 16-year-old daughter, Rachel, says, well, we have the maids, and Dad, Linda, I can clean the house. We can donate that money to the Capital Campaign. And my wife, who's usually like, business. I mean, she says, I just spent 15 minutes and found out how we can save 15% on our car insurance. And what turned out to be a joke ended up being a heck of a lot more than we could possibly imagine. That one thing alone with our cars and our motorcycle and our boat ended like $400 a month. So now the reason I share that story with you is that, there's many in this room, a lot of whom I do not know yet personally, who probably have the wherewithal to give far and beyond and to enjoy the blessing of taking part in becoming a legacy builder far beyond what we could as a family. But I wanted to share with you that so that you could understand that there is a gift, there is a blessing that you receive, there is a feeling of community involvement where when you give and you look around and you see what you can be a part of at any level. I mean, you might have an amount in mind right now, and then you might go home with your husband or your wife or your family, and maybe your 6-year-old's gonna blow your mind. Nevertheless, we can all become legacy builders. We can all participate in the benefits of this school and the ministry that it provides to our children and our families. Expanding the legacy, it's the will of God. The North Campus will come to pass. And I hope that you choose to be a legacy builder and enjoy that gift and be a special part of that gift. Waiting for this. Like Landwell has. Sue alluded to earlier. In 1995, Landwell donated 5.6 acres of land to start the legacy here at Lake Mead Christian Academy. You're obviously sitting on that land. After seeing the benefits that Lake Mead Christian Academy brought to the homes and the neighborhoods, they stepped up again in 2008 and they pledged 12 to 14 acres of land for the LMCA campus. Ultimately, the total size of the donation ended up being 14.4 acres. That land is currently valued, estimated on some comps in the area. I mean, it's commercial frontage access to Lake Mead Parkway. It's currently valued at $3.3 million. It's located almost directly across the street. I'm pretty sure most of you know where it is. And, Landville, there's a financial opportunity here in where their master plan, Cadence, they're going to begin their total 13,000 homes there by hopefully the end of the year. But why did Landville donate this land to Lake Mead Christian Academy? There was a broader understanding that in order for the community to evolve, in order for the community to move forward, they needed to offer a desirable educational alternative to the public school system. And I'll get to the public school system in a minute. Let's talk about our goal. Our goal, total project cost for phase 1, $11 million. Our goal here at LMCA in expanding the legacy is to raise $6 million of that. Now, when I say our goal, I truly mean our goal. The LMCA Board of Directors, those in leadership, the faculty, the staff, they've already led in the financial support of this campaign. At this moment, I would appreciate it if everyone who has already contributed to the campaign, please stand up. These people standing are amongst the staff here at Lake Mead Christian Academy. We've already raised $227,898. Thank you. Now, when you add that pledged amount to our expansion fund, now the expansion fund is a fund that's solely, it's from donations back from 2009, but these donations were specifically earmarked to expand the legacy. Along with our in-kind donations, gifts that are traditionally associated with the development cost that would be, that would have to be an expense for the organization. We would have had to absorb those expenses, but there's savings due to the gracious giving of Core Construction, SH Architecture, Southwick Landscape Design, Professional Design and Associates, Mendenhall, Smith Engineering, Hogmeyer Design Group, and Start to Finish Utility Coordinator. We've currently raised almost $1.5 million. Now that number's even more impressive when you consider the fact that we've only received donations from 2 people outside the leadership, faculty, and staff here at Lake Mead Christian Academy. We're at $1.5 million, and we haven't even, it's been this little quiet campaign thus far. When you take into consideration the staff and the faculty and the leadership here and their salaries as they are compared to the public school system, that number's going to get a little even more impressive. And again, I tell you, we'll talk about the public school system here in a moment. New market tax credits. 4 separate community development entities have assisted Lake Mead in acquiring funds for the new market tax credits. What are new market tax credits? It's a government program whereby development funds are available to strengthen communities. They recognize communities that are in need of an infusion of capital, and they allocate those funds to them. The program currently is very effective across the United States, but unfortunately it's been very underutilized here in Nevada because nobody's taken advantage of it. Well, as of yesterday, Lake Mead Christian Academy became the first entity to be approved by the state of Nevada to receive the new market tax credit, and we expect to receive $5 million. So, this little quiet campaign, boy, we're making great strides in our goal to the total of $11 million required to break ground on the North Campus to expand the legacy here at Lake Mead Christian Academy. Tonight's the big night. We're going to take that little quiet capital campaign and we're going to go public. And we are officially now in full force, and we're bringing $6.48 million to the table. And in my industry, they call that having skin in the game. We got $6.5 million that we're coming to the table for the $11 million. Okay, I told you about the public school system. Here's a quote from Business Week 2007. I'll paraphrase. Imagine running a business where your main competitor not only controls 95% of the market, but they provide their service for free, and the federal government mandates that you use it. It sounds like a recipe for disaster, but unfortunately, this is the marketplace that Nevada Private School have in Nevada. It's a tough nut to crack. We all know the tough economic times when they hit a city that the public school districts feel the pain. This holds true here. In 2011, a report from the Secretary of Education outlined troubling trends in our children's achievement, predicting that if we don't improve the education system in the next generation, we will not be ready to be world-class inventors, world-class doctors, engineers. And upon a further examination of that report, both Standard & Poor's and Moody's downgraded Clark County Public School System's credit rating. I'm sure that you read about that in the paper. Another thing you read in the paper probably are some of the excuses. According to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, a newly released Kids Count data book, Nevada is the worst state for education. Then the Las Vegas Review-Journal comes out and say, despite this low ranking, the state has made some positive strides. The percentage of fourth graders not reading at grade level decreased from 79% to 75%. Only 3 out of 4 kids can't do math at a fourth grade level in fourth grade. The percentage of 8th graders not at grade level in math also declined from 79% to 71%. Only 7 out of 10 kids can't do math at their grade level. Well, where do these percentages leave the Nevada public school system? Dead last. 2011, dead last. 2012, dead last. So I'm doing the research. 2013. Recently, Education Week, an education news and research publication, released its 17th annual survey of the states of education in all 50 states. It's a survey of the status of education in all 50 states. The report, called Quality Counts, grades each state based on several key metrics. The one that stands out to me is the same one that the 2011 Secretary of Education report. What are the students' chance for success? Nevada's score, 69.7%. High school graduation rate statewide, 59.2%, dead last. Nevada was tied with New Mexico for the students having the worst chance for success with a K through 12 education. Both states received a D. 2011, dead last. 12, dead last. 13, dead last. Dead last, dead last, dead last. And, when you read these things, I mean, for me, we're all different, but this is what makes me dead serious about Christian education. It's what makes me dead serious in expanding the legacy for Lake Mead Christian Academy. We've been exposed to what Lake Mead Christian Academy is all about. We've seen the substandard performances from the state of Nevada. I'd like to examine the two in a side-by-side comparison for you. It might be a little small. It's also in the program, which is on your table. Lake Mead Christian Academy educates each student for approximately 51% of what public school system spends to educate their students. LMCA spends 42% on principal and administrative salaries as compared to the public school system. Remember that $227,000 that's already been pledged? We can afford to pay our teachers and our admin staff only 42% of what the public school system is. Makes that number a little larger, doesn't it? We can only afford to pay our teachers about 55% of what Clark County teachers receive, and construction cost and capital expenditures run approximately 55% of the county's cost. When you look a little closer, last two lines there, you see that since 1997, Lake Mead Christian Academy has achieved a 100% high school graduation rate. Clark County did a little bit better than the state. They came in at 71.5, but the state's total was 59.2% that graduate. Not only do we have a 100% graduation rate for decades here at Lake Mead Christian Academy, but 90% of the students that go here get accepted to college. 90%. Perhaps a few of the reasons are, again, those core values. We've talked about love. Mrs. LeBaron, Gabby knows Mrs. LeBaron loves her. The security of our students and the safety of the campus. We talk about quality. We see our quality. Perhaps the biggest thing that we can do by expanding the legacy is accessibility. Lake Mead Christian Academy prides itself on an open enrollment policy. We have an economically diverse campus where much more than 50% of the kids that go here come from a middle-class family. You don't have to be a Christian to go here. You don't have to pass an enrollment exam. Lake Mead Christian Academy's arms are open to every child from every family inside this community from all walks of life. We need that North Campus in order to expand this legacy we've created right here. We're bursting at the seams. We currently have 675 students. The North Campus Phase 1 expansion will get us up to about 1,175 students, and ultimately the success of Phase 2 will get us to 2,000 kids. So you talk about expanding the legacy, let's reach out and touch 2,000 kids. First question I'd ask, if you're talking about charitable giving, historically, what has Lake Mead Christian Academy done with my donation? In 2013, we completed our summer renovation project. Total cost, $217,000. Many of you probably saw the benefits of the capital improvement project. What did we get for our money? The finance department kept 3 columns. I've seen the spreadsheet. Finance department kept a running schedule of the fair market construction material prices and the fair market labor based on all bids that were submitted to complete the project. We paid $217,000. Moderate, the middle, I'm giving you the middle column, not the extreme case. The moderate case came in at $486,000 it would have cost to complete those improvements. That's basically a savings of $269,000. So when you ask yourself, what do you get for your money? You get 100%, but you only pay 45 cents on the dollar. Lake Mead Christian Academy's stewardship of our money is 45% on the last renovation project. The legacy of stewardship here on the charitable dollar is proven again and again and again. We look at Core Construction, 4th largest school builder in the nation. They have an agreement with Lake Mead Christian Academy's development department to continue these savings, same savings trend, in the future constructions of the North Campus. SH Architects, they recently reduced their expenses and their expense model to support the agreement as well. Together, SH Architects and Core Construction, they pride themselves on the final step of the construction process. They actually go through on a line item by line item basis, look at your total expenses, and they together, these two entities together pride themselves on the final step, which is when they get together and they co-present your savings to plan check. This was the total plan, expected cost, no change orders, and they get together and they present this check back to you of what the savings were as compared to plan. That's just their standard business practice. So when you decide, what am I getting for my dollar? You're getting 100%, you're paying 45%. Now, if you feel that this particular nonprofit deserves to be the recipient of your charitable dollar, please know that your dollars are stewarded very carefully. In closing, I'd like to share a story about my grandmother. She pointed this out to me at the latter part of her life here, and it's something that I've come pretty close to revisiting again and again lately with my family. She said to me, Trev, I've had a great life. She kind of knew it was coming, and she was real positive. And she said, I look at life and it's funny. In my 20s, I focused all of my attention on myself. In my 30s, I focused all of my attention on my immediate family and my children. In my 40s, I sort of leveraged my earning years and I focused on my career. But then something funny happened in my 50s, my 60s. I looked around the community and I thought to myself, what can I do for the community? What kind of legacy can I leave behind? What kind of legacy can I leave behind? LMCA has set the stage. It's right there, table set. We've set the stage for you, if you choose, amongst yourself, with your relationship, with your spiritual relationship, with your family. What if every person in this room decided to be a legacy builder? Like every staff member of the school, who makes 41% as compared to the public school system, and they've donated $237,000. There is a pledge sheet on your table. You can make a minimum pledge now. You can pledge monthly, yearly. It's a 3-year pledge process. You can graciously make a one-time gift. But what if everyone in this room decided to make a pledge, decided to be a legacy builder, and got involved in the community and saw this 100% graduation rate, 90% college acceptance rate, tripled from 675 students to over 2,000. And then what if you go home and you get your family in a circle and you talk to your 6-year-old and you get her buy-off on it? How much more could the gift be? How much more could the charitable donation be for the community?